Good evening, everyone. If you don't know, you should know. My name is Rameez Khan, and I'm a filmmaker and a film critic. And yeah, new place, new country. I'm here in India, Bombay to be exact, looking for work. But right now, let's talk about Blade Runner 2049.
We have to go.
I'm coming with you.
Where is he?
The future of the species is finally unearthed.
I don't know why I ever doubted Denis Villeneuve. I never doubted the director. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, by the way. I doubted the idea of making a sequel to a film which didn't require a sequel. But thankfully, Blade Runner 2049 took a massive dump over my doubts of this being a good sequel. Not only is this a very good sequel, this is one of the best sequels to a film ever made. And not only that, it is also one of the finest films of 2017 and a surefire classic, a film to be remembered in the years to come. The common complaint with all sequels is that they're just the first movie done all over again. Well, Blade Runner 2049, it's not the case. Blade Runner 2049 goes in places which I never thought the original film would go in. The film is basically a heavy dosage of another film called Children of Men in the Blade Runner universe, complemented by an incredible identity crisis storyline by the stoic yet very emotional Ryan Gosling, one of his finest performances in my opinion. The plot is that replicants are still being made and used as slave labor, this time by the tyrannical Wallace, played by Jared Leto, who is also the weakest performance in this whole film. But getting back to the plot, there's been a sort of anomaly in the replicant world, a miracle, if you will. That said miracle is what pulls in Blade Runner Ryan Gosling, named Agent K, into an investigation. From the very beginning of the film, the mood and tone is set really well. This is a 70s sci-fi action noir film. I know that's a mouthful, but that's what it is. So don't expect a lot of kabooms and kablams. The film doesn't have that many. What it does have, however, is elongated conversations about themes of the film. If we're taking the ratio of conversations to action, I would put it at somewhere between 3-to-1 or 4-to-1. Four conversations would give you one action scene. The themes from the first Blade Runner get continued exploration, themes such as corporations playing God, corporations deciding the value of a human being's life, the blurring of the lines between replicant and human, which one is thought to be better or worse, and why? There are a lot of things that Blade Runner 2049 does better than the original Blade Runner, one of them being that our main character, Agent K, gets a well-defined arc. In 1982's Blade Runner, Harrison Ford is less interesting than the antagonist of that film, played by Rutger Hauer. Rutger Hauer is the more interesting character. He wants to meet his maker, whereas Harrison Ford is just chasing this guy. But Ryan Gosling's Agent K, man, he's just fantastic. As I said earlier, it's one of Ryan Gosling's best work. He gets a fantastic ending. He actually feels like a detective. His lack of reactions during the first hour contrast well with his emotions later on. Another great thing this film does better than the original is have a legitimate mystery element. I felt so happy as the 1 hour mark hit that I didn't know what was coming up next. I can predict almost any movie in theaters right now, but I could not predict what was gonna happen in Blade Runner 2049. The pacing is as lumbering as the original, but then again, this is the Blade Runner universe we're talking about. You could have easily shaved off at least 15 to 20 minutes off of the final product. Some scenes could have been shaved off from the head, especially that one sequence in Las Vegas when Ryan Gosling is just exploring Las Vegas. We get it. The place has been established already. They over-establish Las Vegas, in my opinion. But the length won't bother people with an IQ of over 100. If you are immersed in the film, in the universe, you'll be fine with the runtime. The soundtrack of this film is incredible, and the best thing this soundtrack does is it complements the work of Vangelis while giving this film its own individuality. The tracks named 2049, Memory, Someone Lived This, and especially Seawall. That is my go-to track right now, Seawall. I listen to it when I'm working out, I listen to it when I walk to work. It's fantastic. But especially the track Seawall, man. It's a 9-minute track that sort of replays and renews the whole film. I got chills when that track was playing in the theaters. My whole body was vibrating. It was so loud. And I gotta talk more about the track. I have to get into spoilers now. You all probably know the scene accompanying this track takes place in the end. It's 23rd on the list of the soundtrack. It involves Ryan Gosling killing the main antagonist of Love. But the brilliant part about that scene isn't just the soundtrack, it's everything. It's one of the finest scenes of the year in my opinion. The mixture of ambient swells and bombastic bass, along with the sound design of Love drowning underwater, her yelling at Ryan Gosling, and the low over-the-shoulder camera angle which is staring right into Ryan Gosling. It's blurred as the water's rippling, but as Love dies, it becomes clear. It's just so well done, and it's really the simple things which show up in this film. That scene, the seawall scene, along with another scene where Agent K makes love to his digital girlfriend named Joy, are some of the finest scenes of the year, some of the best scenes of the year in my opinion. The world is massive in Blade Runner, but the action isn't. It's all very personal and compact. So if you enjoy a film like Transformers like a lot, you probably will not enjoy Blade Runner 2049's action. This film has to be the front runner for best cinematography and best production design. I don't know what else I can say about Roger Deakins. This film is clearly the best looking film of 2017. If this doesn't give him an Oscar, nothing will. And this film also has to be the front runner when it comes to best production design. Now, what is the main selling point of production design? Believability. Believability of what? Believability that people actually live here or lived here. Now, how do we accomplish that? We accomplish that by making our sets look like people are already living in. You make them dirty. So simple things such as the very opening of the film, we see Ryan Gosling in his car. His car is full of food wrappers, notes, everything. It's really dirty. Very similar to the production design in classic films such as Star Wars and very recent films such as Interstellar. It's not like Prometheus or The Martian where everything is clean, neat, and tidy. But I must be honest with my critique. I do have a few gripes with Blade Runner 2049, and we're going back into spoiler territory. The film's themes are great, but I do wish the politics of this film were a bit different. The whole idea of a replicant miracle birth and a war between sects of humanity could very well be a problem we face in the future. The issue is, I have seen Children of Men, which is also the crux of this film's story. If you haven't seen Children of Men, Blade Runner 2049's commentary will feel incredible and unique to you. I do think the year 2049 is going to be very different than what we saw in this film. I don't think there's going to be a lot of barren wastelands as we saw in Blade Runner 2049. I think the problems of the future are going to be no population control. Have you seen what's going on in the country of India and the continent of Africa? It's going to be overflowing with people by that time. And another thing which I think is going to be happening in 2049 is a lot of cities are going to be underwater. But then again, this is Denis Villeneuve's film and not a Denis Khan film. And like the original film, the question is not whether Deckard is or is not a replicant. The question is, does it matter if a person is a replicant or not? The central storyline of this film between Agent K and Joy is basically asking us the question, can anyone apart from humans feel and show love? And the film asks many other questions. Even if memories are planted within you, does that not make you human? The fact that you have memories, despite them being manufactured. The other minor issue is the people on the world. From the very beginning, we knew that Ryan Gosling is a replicant, and it's shown to us very clearly that society hates replicants. They spray paint skinhead on his door. Someone yells skinhead right in front of him. That's just in the very beginning. We don't see that storyline sort of grow into something else. This is a fantastic movie, but it's not a movie for everyone, especially the average audience. The shots are held on very long. The film is centered around really heavy-handed conversations and themes. The action is really small scale, but it feels big thanks to the bombastic score. This is one of the best films of 2017 and my personal favorite film of 2017. The film Logan has now dropped to second place. This film should get recognition at the awards circuit for its sound design, for its cinematography obviously, for its production design, and the music. It would be highway robbery if it didn't get any recognition at all. 5 out of 5 for Blade Runner 2049. Probably the most immersive and amazing science fiction experience I've had in the cinema in the past 5 years. I mean, Interstellar in the IMAX theater twice was a lot of fun, and so was The Martian. Gravity was really fucking boring, so you know what? Scratch out the probably. This is the most immersive and best science fiction experience I've had in the past 5 years. If you have not seen Blade Runner 2049, you're making a big mistake. Thank you so much for watching, people. If you enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button, but until next time, remember to love yourselves.